So grimoires are books of magic that seem to be more to people archetypally or in their consciousness than just books, print on paper. The Necronomicon is a famous example of that, actually, but it's not the only example. We talked about the Book of Abramelin, and believe it or not, this is considered a grimoire. And it's almost the anti-grimoire grimoire, and we have, I think, like a 10-video playlist on this channel that just scrapes the surface of introducing the process of going about the lifestyle necessary to undergo the Abramelin system. But the Book of Abramelin is a medieval period grimoire that does seem to be almost a pure grimoire in the essence that it really is based in Kabbalistic and Hebrew and the almost Old Testament quote-unquote magic, and in doing that almost undermines all the other grimoires in the process, as the Abramelin system actually says not to use planetary days and hours, and not to concern yourself with physical manifestations of spirits and conjurations and so forth. So it's its own. Let's see. Another example would be like the Babylonian magic and sorcery. Babylonian magic and sorcery is also known as the prayers of the lifting of the hand, and it's a collection of cuneiform Babylonian tablets that are very much broken, but a good example of a broken, somewhat grimoire that is used by practitioners to try and investigate or revitalize a system, and in doing so trying to preserve something like the Babylonian Sumerian tradition, which is I can't say on the verge of dying out, because we've only in the last 100 years been rediscovering what there is to know, but working with entities is not as easy as some of the more classical grimoires, the Solomonic grimoires, would have you believe. In case you're not sure what of which I refer to, the Keys of Solomon the King. The Keys of Solomon the King are, well, and actually this version actually says is translated and edited from manuscripts in the British Museum by MacGregor Mathers. Mathers being the famous Golden Dawn co-founder, and he was very interested in the Keys of Solomon and the Kabbalah and also Abramelin's system very much. But the Goetia, which is the Lesser Keys of Solomon, and the Grimoire of Armadale, and there's all kinds of grimoires in that series that eventually were actually bastardized into Arthur Edward Waite was another Golden Dawn member, and after the Golden Dawn became fragmented and started forming their own, Arthur Edward Waite formed the Magickal Order of the Golden Dawn, which was a lot more emphasized on mysticism as opposed to some of just the regular fraternal ceremonialism. This book is the Ceremonial book of, or the Book of Ceremonial Magic. It's been called so many things. It's been recovered so many times by so many names. It's actually even been called the Book of Black Magic. But what it does is it actually bastardizes all the various grimoires into Waite's kind of take on them, and he kind of crunches a whole medieval library into this book. To be effective, though, the impression is that everything will go silent and no birds will chirp and the winds will swirl about you and this entity will just miraculously appear in a puff of smoke. I'm not going to say this is impossible, but don't count on it. Entities can actually best be encountered on the astral plane, and with practice, this would be the quote-unquote other side, and you can access this during ceremony. Enochian magic is highly emphasized on this. The gatewalking procedure of the Necronomicon is very much emphasized on this. And you have a couple options. Scrying, you can use dark crystals, have been used, pools of water, black mirrors. You can construct a black mirror with by taking a piece of glass and painting one side of it black, and that will be the back side. And when they make it with, they used to make mirrors with silver, and they would coat the back with silver. And when you look through it, that's the surface, and it provides a really nice reflective surface into the dark nothingness, as it were. And in doing that, you can use that in your ceremonies for scrying. Your other option would be to find, I kind of happened by this. This is actually a nice round circular plate that is black and reflective. And the idea is to bring your consciousness into the, I don't like the word nothing per se, because but for lack of a better word, into this realm of the absolute potentiality, of which nothing is manifest. So what you usually are using is a medium of darkness and whatnot. Dark pools, dark crystals, dark plates of glass, and to access this. And in incorporating this into whatever ceremony you're using, whether it's Enochian or Necronomicon or from a grimoire, you can actually scry into the astral to encounter spirits in that way. Some of the systems talk about, in the Solomonic system, you make a triangle out of wood, and there's a circular, you would take like a circular plate like that and mount it in the center, and you throw some Greek words up on it, and then you put the name Michael separated into 3 sections or syllables around the plate, and use that as a medium for accessing spirits in that tradition with those grimoires. In Simon's Necronomicon, you really, I got some crap for advocating the use of poster board, but for the gate walking procedure, you can use large pieces of poster board to create the 7 seals of the gates. And Harms and Gauntz, in their review, were thinking that I was, thinking that these pieces of poster board would open like hinged doors or something like that. And what I meant by magical gateways was the astral plane, because in my section on it, I'm talking about the astral plane and whatnot, like I am now. This is based off a section in both the Sorcerer's Handbook and Merlyn's Magic and Arcanum. So, what you do with that is kind of like the way this is strobing. It's white on black. You take a large piece of white poster board and you put the gate on it in bold black, and you sit and you meditate and you scry in front of that, and eventually it actually kind of begins to strobe on you. And with time, when you close your eyes, you actually still see that. So, just an example.